Browns GM Andrew Berry reveals how Deion Sanders' presence impacted Shadur's NFL draft slide. Throughout the pre-draft process, one of the big questions around Shadur Sanders was whether his father, Deion, would have a presence. That discussion got even louder as Shadur fell down the 2025 NFL draft board, and Cleveland Browns GM Andrew Berry addressed it after selecting him. The Browns selected Sanders with a number 144 overall pick in the 5th round, trading up with the Philadelphia Eagles to do so. It was quite a drop throughout the weekend considering he came in as ESPN analyst Mel Kiper Jr.'s top quarterback prospect on the board. Ultimately, Sanders became the 5th quarterback taken in the draft. As for whether Deion's presence played a role in the slide, Berry noted the Browns' relationship with Coach Prime and the positive experiences with him. I felt like our personal relationship and interactions with Deion, that's really been all positive from our perspective, Berry told reporters. And I mean that organizationally, not just me and Kevin, but really, all of us who have interacted with Deion and the people out in Colorado. We don't typically penalize prospects for their parents, so to speak. So I can't say if that was a factor or not for other teams. But that was not a significant factor for us. Sanders is set to sign a 4-year contract with the Browns, according to Spotrac. The total value of the deal is $4.6 million, a $40 million decrease from a top 2 pick in the draft. With an annual salary of $1.15 million, Sanders put together a standout senior season at Colorado in 2024, leading the nation with a 74% completion percentage. He also totaled 4,134 passing yards and 37 touchdowns, while leading the Buffaloes to a bowl game as part of an impressive turnaround under his father. However, Shadur Sanders continued to fall down the board. ESPN's Pete Thamel said there were a few factors in play regarding the drop, but noted the amount of quarterback talent in next year's draft class. That group includes Drew Aller from Penn State, as well as Clemson's Cade Klubnik and LSU's Garrett Nussmeier, among others. While Arch Manning will be draft eligible, Thamel pointed out he's likely to be at Texas for 4 years and instead declare in 2027. Browns GM Andrew Berry shares blunt assessment of Shadur Sanders' unprecedented NFL draft slide. The 2025 NFL draft brought shockwaves no one anticipated. One of the most stunning developments came with Colorado quarterback Shadur Sanders, once widely projected as a top-tier pick, sliding past 3 full rounds without being selected. As the league prepares for Day 3, Cleveland Browns general manager Andrew Berry offered a candid perspective on Sanders' unexpected fall. Andrew Berry offers honest take on Shadur Sanders' draft fall. During the pre-draft process, the Browns had shown considerable interest in Sanders. They interviewed him at the NFL Scouting Combine, attended his pro day at Colorado, and even hosted him for a top 30 visit. Many assumed Cleveland would be a likely landing spot. However, when the Browns picked number 94 overall in the 3rd round, they chose Oregon's Dillon Gabriel instead. Speaking to the media after the selection, Berry addressed the decision. Shadur Sanders is an impressive young man and a really good QB, he stated. Sometimes, fit comes into play. He further added, he has a ton of resolve, and I think he's going to find himself in a really good spot. Berry also revealed that the Browns had targeted Gabriel entering the draft, underscoring the fact that their decision was planned rather than reactive. The broader surprise stems from Sanders being generally rated the number 2 quarterback in the class by major outlets. While Miami's Cam Ward went 1st overall to the Tennessee Titans, and Jackson Dart was picked by the New York Giants later in the 1st round, Sanders remained on the board through Day 2. Several other quarterbacks, including Tyler Shaw, Jalen Milroe, and Gabriel, were taken on Day 2, pushing Sanders further down the list. With 5 teams already having drafted quarterbacks, the Titans, Giants, New Orleans Saints, Seattle Seahawks, and Browns, his available options are dwindling. Adding to the intrigue, Sanders' college teammate, 2-way Heisman winner Travis Hunter, went number 2 overall to the Jaguars. Jacksonville jumped ahead of Cleveland in a trade with the Browns to select Hunter. Earlier in the week, Berry had likened Hunter to Shohei Ohtani, a comparison that Jaguars GM James Gladstone echoed, saying, "There are players that you can target and acquire that alter the trajectory of a football team. Travis is somebody that we view has the potential to do that." Despite the slide, Sanders maintained composure, addressing family and friends in a video. All this is of course more fuel to the fire. Tomorrow's the day, and we're going to be happy regardless. As Saturday approaches, all eyes are now on where and when Sanders will finally hear his name called. Shadur Sanders' Cleveland draft doesn't stop ex-NBA star from accusing NFL in a bitter rant. Imagine this. Shadur Sanders, the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, slipping through the 2025 NFL draft like Tom Brady did in 2000, when Brady was picked 199th overall. Brady was considered a backup, but he went on to dominate the NFL with 7 Super Bowl rings. Now, despite lighting it up at Jackson State, and possessing a resume that statistically rivals many quarterbacks drafted ahead of him, Shadur is left out of day 2 picks. Could he defy the preconceived notions and alleged attitude issues and make the doubters regret their decisions? Shadur really made a name for himself in college, racking up impressive stats like 3,384 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. He also earned some serious honors, including SWAC Offensive Player of the Year and the Deacon Jones Trophy for being the best HBCU player in the nation. With all that success, it's hard to understand why he didn't get picked up earlier in the draft. But Shadur took it in stride, saying, "God don't make mistakes. I got faith in God no matter what." His confidence hasn't gone unnoticed. Former NBA star Eddie A. Johnson had some strong thoughts on the situation. Eddie A. Johnson is outraged by the reason Shadur Sanders wasn't selected in the 2025 NFL Draft. The narrative around Shadur's attitude issues has taken hold, with anonymous sources claiming his behavior during combined interviews raised red flags. One anonymous NFL assistant coach even described his interview as the worst formal interview I've ever been in, citing entitlement and poor body language. There were also reports from former Colorado head coach Rick Neuheisel about Sanders allegedly taking a personal FaceTime call during a team meeting, which some interpreted as a lack of respect. Eddie, however, argues that this is an unfair and flawed way to judge talent. He believes these attitude issues are just an excuse. Here is the problem with what the NFL has done, and it's blatant and wrong. This young man is a product of his dad. He adores his dad, and guess what? His dad is one of the most influential men in sports, Eddie says. Eddie points out that Deion Sanders, one of the most respected figures in sports, has never been involved in controversy or acted disrespectfully. He's known for his professionalism, leadership, and raising his children with integrity. You have never heard of Deion Sanders cursing, getting in trouble, or being disrespectful, and definitely not his kids, Eddie adds. To highlight the double standard, Eddie draws a sharp comparison to the 2025 political climate, stating, "2025, and this is where we are, yet a president was elected, and he is the same." Interestingly, President Trump himself predicted greatness for the 23-year-old. Therefore, Shadur, his quarterback's son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shadur, and say hello to your wonderful father. It's easy to dismiss someone based on perceptions, but when you break down Shadur's situation, you can't help but compare him to athletes in other sports who had to fight similar battles for recognition. Let's dive into what legacy and talent really mean in this context. The narrative surrounding Shadur highlights a recurring challenge for athletes with famous lineage, separating individual merit from familial expectations. Legacy or talent? What would dominate Shadur Sanders' career? Shadur's story, much like the journey of LeBron James, is one of overcoming perception. When LeBron entered the NBA, the media couldn't get enough of labeling him the chosen one before he even played a game. There was constant chatter about his confidence, with many hoping he'd fail. But what did that confidence lead to? For NBA championships, a legacy cemented, and a career that surpassed the hype. Shadur, too, is facing a similar narrative. As Deion's son, there's a lingering perception that he's living in his father's shadow, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Carmelo Anthony said, "He put his son at the helm to be the face of whatever happens," at a time when no one asked about Colorado. This comparison to LeBron underscores the potential for perceived arrogance to be a precursor to extraordinary achievement. Shadur's potential isn't just about his stats, it's about the impact he's already making. Think about how Deion reshaped college football, bringing attention to HBCU programs and challenging the status quo. Shadur is positioned to continue this legacy. While his career doesn't yet boast the same accolades as Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, he's got the potential to be a transformational figure in the NFL, just as his father was in college football. Melo rightly called him a cultural shifter. Shadur is carving out his path. He's not just riding on the coattails of his family name. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, made sure to remind everyone that Shadur is not defined by his last name. We're talking about Shadur. We ain't talking about nobody else. If his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this discussion. This statement highlights that Shadur's journey and legacy are his own. He's more than just the son of a legend. His talent, work ethic, and leadership are shaping a unique story, and he's set to leave a mark beyond just being Deion's kid. When it comes to Shadur's talent, his skills speak for themselves. Just like Serena Williams' unmatched work, Shadur's ability to read defenses, make accurate throws, and lead under pressure places him in a similar category. His impressive touchdown-to-interception ratio and his performance at Jackson State prove that he has the talent to succeed at the next level. Yet, there's a complexity to his situation, having to navigate not just the physical demands of football, but also the weight of the legacy tied to his name. As he looks ahead to day 3 of the draft, there's a lot riding on his next steps. We can only hope he continues to prove the doubters wrong and show the world what he's truly capable of.